Disclaimer: this is a work of fiction created for entertainment purpose only, not affiliated with BTS or Big Hit Entertainment. Characters and storylines are fictional and for entertainment purpose only. If you are homophobic, then please just leave. Tigers Bunny promote respect and kindness. Seoul University was buzzing with noise. The start of a new semester always brought gossips and curiosity. And this time the gossip wasn't about a student, it was about a new professor. Students worshipped loudly in the hallway. Student 1 snickering. The new professor is blind. Can you believe it? Student 2 laughing. How will he even teach? He won't know if we are sleeping. Student 3 mocking. Maybe we should move chair around, see if he trips. Cruel laughter followed. Sitting near the back of the hall, Kim Taehyung leaned against the wall, his long legs stretched out lazily. One hand in his pocket, the other holding his phone. His massive brown hair fell over sharp his eyes. His aura screamed danger. Everyone in college feared him. He didn't care about grades. He didn't join groups. Didn't let anyone else. Girls threw themselves at him. Boys tried to befriend with him. But today, for the first time, Hyung's eyes lifted from his phone. The door opened. A man entered, carefully tapping the ground with a white cane. His steps were slow but not weak. Each movement showed control and quiet strength. His black hair shined under the classroom lights, falling neatly to the side. Round glasses set on his nose, hiding soft eyes that couldn't see. Theon's gaze sharpened, his chest tightened strangely. Who is he? The man placed his bag on the desk, gently running his finger over the surface until he found the right place. Then he stood straight and smiled, gentle yet powerful. Jungkook, the new literature professor. His voice followed smoothly when he spoke like music wrapped in the calm confidence. Jungkook softly with warmth. Good morning, I am Professor Jungkook. I may not see you with my eyes, but I hope my words will reach your hearts. Theung felt something unusual. His heart skipped, his jaw clenched. Why does his voice feel like it's touching me? But before he could understand, mocking laughter filled the room. Student too loudly. Professor, how will you even know if we are here? Maybe we can just leave the class. But his expression stayed calm. Jungkook stayed steady voice. I may not see, but I can hear better than you think. Please remember, respect is the first lesson of literature. Theung's eyes stayed locked on Jungkook. He wasn't looking at his blindness, he was looking at everything else. The soft pink lips that moved with quiet grace, the smooth skin that seemed untouched by harshness, the strong jawline, delicate yet firm, the long lashes resting above sightless eyes, making the blindness. Theung had seen countless faces, beautiful, fake painted with makeup of arrogance, but this man, he was breathtaking, not because he was blind, but because he was fragile, but because he carried dignity even in darkness. Theong's chest tightened again. Why does he look like he was craved to stand out? Only to me. The class continued, students smoking quietly. Jungkook ignored it all, his smile broken, but Theong felt void every time he heard cruel whispers. Finally, when class ended, Jungkook packed his books and left to the library. Students mocking. Oh, oops, sorry, Professor. Jungkook's can hit the chair too late. He stumbled forward, about to fall. Theong's body moved before his brain could think. He catched Jungkook's wrist firmly, pulling him away from the danger. The professor's delicate frame bumped into his chest for a second, and Theong felt his breath hitch. Jungkook, confused, whispering, who? Theong's glare shifted to the culprit. His voice came out low, dangerous, filled with rage. Theong, pick that chair up. The student froze. Everyone knew that voice. The bad boy of the college was angry. The student said, stammering, I didn't mean. Theong snapping. Do I look like I'm laughing? Try it again, and I'll make sure you crawl out of there. The classroom went dead silence. Theong gently adjusted Jungkook's hand back onto the can. His touch soft now. For a second, his thumb brushed against Jungkook's skin, warm, fragile, precious. And Theong thought, why does it feel like he belongs in my hands? Jungkook whispering, who are you? Theong didn't answer. He turned sharply, walking out of the room, his long strides echoing in the silence. The student stared. Never before had Kim Theon cared about anyone. Meanwhile, Jungkook stood frozen, his heart racing. That grip, firm yet protective, still lingered on his skin. That night, alone in his apartment, Jungkook touched his wrist softly. Jungkook's soft whispers. Why did his hand feel so warm? Across town, Theon sat on his motorbike, staring at the night sky. The cigarette in his hand burned out untouched. His mind replayed every detail. Jungkook smiled. His lips, his lashes, his voice. Theon, gritting teeth, whispering, Jion Jungkook, what are you doing to me? Something had changed. Theon didn't know what yet, but for the first time in his life, his cold heart had stirred. The next day, Jungkook walked into the lecture hall with his usual calm steps. His cane tapped softly on the ground, his papers neatly held in one hand. He had already heard rumors that students made fun of him after yesterday's class, but he chose to ignore them. Jungkook's rule was simple: don't let them see you hurt. But today the classroom felt different. Students whispered glasses, their eyes flickered nervously toward the back row. Sitting there, legs stretched wide, arm across, was Kim Taehyung. He wasn't usually in this class, everyone knew it, yet there he was, staring at the professor with unreadable eyes. Student 1 whispering, why is Taehyung here again? Student 2 hissing, shut up before he hears you. The class started, and as always, some students tried to whisper and disturb Jungkook, but every time they opened their mouth, they met Taehyung's cold glare and froze. For the first time, Jungkook taught in silence. When class ended, Jungkook carefully gathered his things, but this time, instead of fumbling around alone, he felt someone take the stack of books from his hand. Jungkook frowning softly. Who? Theon low voiced me. Jungkook blinked behind his glasses. That voice again, the same voice. The same boy who had saved him yesterday. Jungkook firmly. You don't need to help me. I can carry my books. Theon calmly. I know you can. Doesn't mean I will let you. He walked beside Jungkook, holding the books easily in one arm. Students stared at as they passed, whispering. Student 3 mumbling. Is Theon protecting him? Student 4 shaking head. What's going on? Jungkook felt heat rise in his cheeks. He didn't like attention, and walking beside someone like him, Theon, the most feared boy in university, only made him more noticeable. When they reached Jungkook's office, Theon placed the books gently on the desk. Jungkook placed his cane down and turned toward him. Jungkook soft but sharp. Why are you doing this? Theon raising a brow. Doing what? Jungkook following me, carrying my things, carrying the students. I don't need pity. Theon's jaw tightened. Theon, slow, serious. Do I look like someone who pities people? Jungkook hesitant. Then why? For the first time, Theon looked at him properly, letting his eyes drink in every detail. The way Jungkook's back hair brushed against his forehead, the way his glasses slipped slightly down his nose, the way his lips curved with firmness but trembled just a little. He looked fragile, yes, but he looked strong, beautiful in a way Theon had never seen before. Theon, after a pause, quietly. Because I don't like when people hurt you. Jungkook's heart skipped. He wasn't used to people saying things like that, but he quickly shook his head. Jungkook whispering, I can handle myself. I have been doing it for years. Theon stepping closer, voice rough, and you should not have to. Silence filled the office. Jungkook's breath catch in his throat. He couldn't see Theon's face, but he could feel his presence close and overwhelming. Jungkook softly trying to stay calm. Why do you care? Theon looked at him, his heart beating faster than ever. He wanted to say, because I can't stop thinking about you, but the words stayed trapped. He had never confessed anything in his life, especially not to someone he barely knew. So instead, he mutters almost to himself, Taehyung, low, because you are different. Before Jungkook could respond, Taehyung turned and walked out of the office, leaving Jungkook standing in silence, his heart racing wildly. That evening, Jungkook sat at his desk, finger tracing over the edge of his braille book, but he wasn't reading. His mind replayed Taehyung's word, because I don't like when people hurt you because you are different. Jungkook soft whispers, what does he mean? Meanwhile, Theon sat under the night sky on his bike again, hands gripping the handles tightly. He closed his eyes, remembering every little thing about Jungkook. His voice, his smile, his fragile strength. Theon, muttering to himself, why can't I stop looking at you? His chest iced, and for the first time in his life, the college bad boy realized he wasn't as cold as he thought because someone had finally made him feel alive. For the first few days, something unusual happened in Professor Jungkook's classroom. Every time he entered, tapping the floor gently with his cane, the room stayed quiet. The students who once mocked him now sat stiffly, too scared to whisper. Because at the back of the room, always sitting with the lazy confidence, was Kim Taehyung. His sharp eyes scanned the class like a hawk. The moment someone tried to giggle or whisper, his glare landed on them, and the noise died instantly. Taehyung didn't even take notes. He didn't need to. He wasn't there for the class. He was there for Jungkook. From the way Jungkook's lips moved softly while teaching, to the delicate way his fingers turned pages, to the way his lashes fluttered when he smiled, Theon saw everything. He couldn't look away. Sometimes his chest tightened, sometimes his fist clenched. When Jungkook almost stumbled, he didn't understand why he cared so much, but he couldn't stop. One afternoon, after the students left, Jungkook stayed behind to arrange some papers. His cane leaned against the desk as he stacked the sheets carefully. Theon remained seated, pretending to scroll on his phone, but his eyes never left the professor. Suddenly, Jungkook's fingers slid across the edge of the paper too quickly. Jungkook sharp hiss. A thin line of blood appeared on his fingers. He bit his lip and shook his hand, lightly frowning. Before he could reach for his bag, Theon was already there, his tall frame towering over the desk, his hand grabbing Jungkook's wrist firmly. Theon scolding. Are you stupid? Look at you. Jungkook confused, frustrated. It's just a paper cut, Theon growling. Doesn't matter. You should be careful. You can't see, so you need to protect yourself more. Jungkook's lips were set, pressed into a small pout. He hated being reminded of his blindness like this. Even if Taehyung's voice was filled with concern, Jungkook muttering, I have lived like this for years. I don't need a babysitter. Taehyung opened his bag and pulled out a small first aid kit. He always carried it, not for himself, but because something inside him told him Jungkook might need it one day. He cleaned Jungkook's fingers carefully, wrapping a band-aid around it. His touch was rough at first, but then Jungkook flinched. He softened immediately. Theon gritting teeth. Don't pout, you look like a kid. Jungkook pouting harder, whispering, I'm not pouting. Theon froze. He stared at Jungkook's lips, the way they curved downward adorably, the way his cheeks puffed just slightly, his heart thumped loudly in his chest. How can someone look this beautiful even when annoyed? Jungkook's soft voice. Why are you always here? Why do you keep helping me? Theon looked away, his jaw tightened. He didn't want to admit the truth yet. That he was obsessed, that he couldn't stop thinking about him. Theon low, because if I don't, you will get hurt, and I can't stand that. Jungkook's heart skipped. He turned his face slightly, biting his lip. He didn't know what to say. Theon finally let go of his hand, but not before brushing his thumb gently across Jungkook's skin, almost without realizing. Theon roughly trying to hide his softness. Next time, don't act careless. I won't always be there. Jungkook whispering stubborn. But you are always here. The words slipped out before Jungkook could stop himself. His cheeks flushed and he quickly looked away embarrassed. Theon's eyes softened. He wanted to smile, really smile, but instead he shored his hand in his pocket and stepped back. Theon quietly. Yeah, I am. That night, Jungkook lay in his bed, staring into darkness that never changed. His fingers still throbbed slightly, but his heart throbbed more. The memory of Theon's warm hand, his scolding voice, his gentle touch while bandaging him, it all played again and again. Jungkook softly to himself. Why does he care so much? Meanwhile, Theon leaned on his bike under the night sky, head tilted back, eyes closed. His mind was a storm. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw Jungkook, his pout, his lips, his fragile strength. Theon muttering, you are driving me insane, Professor. And though he didn't admit it yet, he had already decided no one would hurt Jeon Jungkook, not while Kim Theon was breathing. The hallway of the college echoed with laughter. A group of boys leaned against the lockers, whispering cruel jokes. They didn't dare do it in class anymore. Theon's sharp eyes had silenced from them. But here, away from his presence, they felt brave. Jungkook walked slowly, tapping the floor with his cane. His steps were careful, but his expression was calm. He had learned to live with the whispers, to endure the cruelty. Boy one mocking. Careful, Professor, don't trip over here. Boy two snicking. How does a blind man even teach? Maybe he guessed. Questioned. Joko gripped on the cane, tightened his lips, pressing into a thin line. He kept walking, pretending not to hear. But then a familiar sound cut through the air, the heavy slam of someone being shot against a locker's thing. His hand was gripping the collar of the boy who had spoken, his eyes burning with fury. Theon growling. Say that again, I dare you, boy one joking. We were just kidding, Theon standing. Does he look like a joke to you? The hallway felt silent, no one dared move. Jungkook's head turned toward the commotion, his voice firm though laced with rage. Jungkook, Theon. At the sound of his name from Jungkook's lips, Theon froze. His grip loosened. He let the boy drop. The students scattered quickly, terrified. Jungkook walked closer, his cane dropping the floor. Jungkook scolding, frowning. Why are you always fighting? You will get yourself in trouble. Theon, frustrated voice raised. Because they were insulting you, Jungkook sternly. And you think violence will stop them? You are not my bodyguard. Theon angrily, then softer. No, but I want to be. Jungkook's heart skipped at the word, his lips parted, but no sound came out. He felt heat creeping up his neck. Theon's chest heaved, his fist still trembling with leftover rage. But when he saw Jungkook's small frown, his expression softened. He reached forward carefully curling his finger around Jungkook's wrist. Theon, low, almost breathing. Don't scold me like that, Professor. I just can't stand anyone hurting you. Jungkook, quickly stubborn. I don't need saving every time. Theon, soft smirk leaning closer. Maybe not, but I like saving you. Jungkook pouted slightly, turning his face away. His stubbornness only made Theon's chest itch more. Later in the empty staff lounge, Jungkook sat down beside his hand brushed around the table, searching for the lunchbox. Before he could open it, Theon slid into the chair beside him, stealing the box gently. Jungkook surprised, frowning. What are you doing? Theon calmly, feeding you. Jungkook pouting. I can eat by myself. Theon smirking, voice teasing but tenderly. I know, but let me take care of you once, princess. Jungkook cheeks heated as at the word princess. No one had ever called him that before, not mockingly but with genuine affection. Taehyung opened the box, picked up a spoon, and held it near Jungkook's lips. Taehyung, gentle, almost whispering, "Say." Jungkook hesitated and pressed his lips together stubbornly. Jungkook muttering, "You are ridiculous, Taehyung." Grinning patient, "And you are stubborn." Now open slowly with a reluctant pout. Jungkook opened his mouth. Taehyung freed him, watching the way his lips closed around the spoon. His heart raced. Taehyung softly with meaning. "Good boy." Jungkook froze, his eyes burning. He quickly turned his face away, hiding his blush. Jungkook muttering, "Don't say things like that." Taehyung smiling, leaning closer. "Why not? You look even prettier when you blush." Jungkook's lips trembled. No one had ever spoken it to him. No one had treated him like he was fragile yet precious, stubborn yet beautiful. He wanted to stay angry, he wanted to scold Taehyung more, but when Taehyung's finger brushed against his hand, steady and warm, his defense melted just a little. Jungkook soft, barely audible. "You are trouble, Taehyung." Taehyung grinning, voice deep. "Maybe, but I'm your trouble now." That night, Jungkook lay awake, remembering Taehyung's voice, his word, his touch, and across the city, Taehyung sat on his bike, staring at the stars, whispering to himself. Taehyung softly, almost desperate, "One day, Professor, you will see yourself the way I see you. Until then, I will protect you, even if you hate me for it." The day had been long. Jungkook taught three back-to-back classes, trying his best to keep his voice steady and his instruction clear. Most students respected him now because of Taehyung's silent watch, but the whispers behind his back still existed. That evening, as Jungkook walked through the hallway, his cane tapping softly, he overheard two staff members talking near the corner. Staff one whispering, "I don't understand why the dean hired him. A blind professor, it's unfair to a student." Staff two sighing, "Yes, he seems nice, but he actually really handle this job long term?" Jungkook stopped, his chest tightened, and the words cut deeper than he expected. He turned quickly, changing his direction, not wanting them to hear his shaky breath. He ended up in the empty music room, sitting quietly on the piano bench. His fingers touched the cold key, but no sound came. His eyes, though useless, burned with unshed tears. Jungkook whispering to himself, "Maybe they're right. Maybe I don't belong here." His shoulders shook slightly. He had always been strong, always endured people comment, but sometimes the loneliness, the weight of his darkness became too much. Taehyung, who had been searching the halls for him, finally pushed the door open. He paused when he saw Jungkook sitting silently, head lowered. Taehyung softly. Professor Jungkook quickly tightened, wiping his cheeks, though there was no visible tears. Jungkook, forcing a smile. "I'm fine, just resting." Taehyung walking closer, frowning. "Liar, your voice shake when you lie." Jungkook's lips parted. He wanted to deny it, but Taehyung's tone left no room. Taehyung sitting beside him, voice gentler. "Tell me who hurt you." Jungkook shaking his head, whispering, "It doesn't matter. People just don't think I deserve to be here. Maybe they're right." Taehyung's jaw clenched, his hand curled into fist, then slowly loosened. He didn't want to scare Jungkook with anger now. Instead, he reached out gently, taking Jungkook's hand. "Taehyung, firm yet tender. Listen to me. You are the smartest, strongest person in this entire building. They don't see it because they are blind, not you." Jungkook's lips trembled. Jungkook quietly, "But I can't even see your face." Taehyung's heart broke at the words. He lifted Jungkook's hand and pressed it gently against his own face. Taehyung softly. "Then feel it. My jaw, my nose, my lips. Remember me like this. You don't need eyes to know me." Jungkook's fingers hesitated, traced over his sharp jawline, the curve of his nose, the warmth of his lips, his cheeks blushing. Jungkook whispering, "You are warm." Taehyung smiling faintly, "Only for you, princess." Jungkook froze at the words, his heart races, but he didn't pull away. Taehyung guided Jungkook's hand down gently and then stood Taehyung soft, coaxing. "Come with me." Jungkook hesitated, then placed his hand on Taehyung. The warmth wrapped around him like safety. Taehyung led him carefully through the room, describing each step. Taehyung, gentle voice. "There is a chair here. Careful. Step left. Good. Now a little forward. Perfect." Jungkook felt like he was floating. No one had ever guided him so tenderly before. Finally, Taehyung stopped, pulling out a chair. He helped Jungkook sit and then unwrapped a chocolate bar from his pocket. Taehyung smirking, "Open your mouth." Jungkook pouting, frowning slightly. "Again, you really like feeding me." Taehyung teasing, but soft. "I like spoiling you." Jungkook opened reluctantly, letting Taehyung place the chocolate on his tongue. His lips brushed against Taehyung's finger for just for a second, enough to make Taehyung's heartbeat roar in his ear. Jungkook mumbling, "You are treating me like I am fragile." Taehyung low sincere, "No, I am treating you like you are precious." The silence that followed was heavy but not uncomfortable. Jungkook's mouth softened into a small, shy smile. For the first time, That night, as Taehyung walked Jungkook to his quarters, he stayed close, their hands brushing more than once before leaving. He bent slightly, his lips close to Jungkook's hair. Taehyung whispering, desperate but soft, "Don't ever believe them, Professor. You belong here, and you belong with me." Jungkook stood frozen, heart pounding, as Taehyung walked away, and for the first time, Jungkook didn't just feel protected; he felt cherished. The day started normal. Jungkook lectured calmly, his soft voice filling the classroom, Ken resting by his desk. The students stayed quiet, too aware of Taehyung's burning eyes at the back now. But not everyone liked Taehyung's role. During lunch break, two boys from another department whispered nearer the corridor. They didn't care about Taehyung's reputation. They thought they were safe when he wasn't around. Boy one snickering. That blind professor think he is so great, pathetic, boy too grinning. Yes, probably gets special treatment because people pity him. Jungkook, who had been walking nearby, froze, his chest tightened. He wanted to ignore them, but the cruel laughter stung deep. Then suddenly, bang! One boy was slammed against the wall, the other stumbled backward, eyes widening in horror. Theon. His jaws was tight, his grip was still like steel as he pressed the boy to the wall. Theon snarling, and say one more word about him, one more, and I will make sure you never speak again. The hallway went silent, students nearby held their breath. Boy too stammering. We were just joking, Theon glaring, voice sharp. His words more than all of you combined. Remember that. He shoved them back and turned instantly towards Jungkook, who stood frozen with his hands, lips pressed tight. Jungkook, soft but upset. Theon walking over, voice still rough with anger. Did you hear them? You don't have to. Jungkook cutting him off, frowning. Stop fighting everyone for me. Theon stepped fluttered, his chest edged at the tone. They walked in silence until they reached the empty staff room. Jungkook set his back down, his lips trembling. Jungkook quietly heard. Do you think I am that weak that I need saving every second? Theon shaking his head quickly, voice desperate. No, you are stronger than anyone I know, but when they insult you, I can't stop myself. It burns inside me. Jungkook turned his face away, beating his lips. His heart was racing, half anger, half something else. Theon stepped closer, lowering his voice. Theon, gentle now. I'm not fighting because I think you are weak. I'm fighting because you matter to me more than anything. Jungkook breathed gasp. Jungkook hesitant, whispering. You scare me sometime, but I don't hate that you are here. Theon froze, the words hit him like lightning. His lips parted in shock, then slowly curved into a smile, soft, real. Theon teasing gently, don't hate, huh? Does that mean you like me, Professor? Jungkook spun, he quickly pouted, hiding his face behind his hands. Jungkook muttering, you are annoying. Theon grinning wider, leaning closer. Annoying, but you don't want me to leave. Silence felt the kind of silence heavy with unsaid feelings. Theon reached out carefully, taking Jungkook's hand, guiding it to his chest. Theon softly yet with meaning. Feel that. That's what you do to me. Every time you breathe, my heart runs wild. Jungkook's finger trembled against the fast heartbeat. His lips parted slightly, his throat dry. Theon leaned in slowly, carefully, his forehead touching Jungkook's. He didn't dare steal a kiss, not yet, but this closeness made Jungkook shiver. Theon whispering deep and low, one day I will make you see me, even if your eyes never do. Jungkook's power softening, his lips trembled into the faintest smile. His heart felt like it was glowing in the darkness. Jungkook whispering back, you are trouble, Theon. Theon smirking softly, brushing his thumb over Jungkook's hand. Only yours, princess. That night, Jungkook lay awake, touching his lips unconsciously. No kiss had happened, but his heart beat as if it had. And Theon laying on his bed with arm behind his head, grinning up at the ceiling. The campus felt colder that day. Jungkook could sense the change, though he couldn't see it. The whispers behind his back had grown louder again as he walked down the hallway with his can. He showed when he heard two voices. Familiar belonging to staff member he often passed by. Staff one signing. That Kim Theon's voice always hovering around Professor Jeon's staff too, snoring. Please, it's not because he respects him. Theon doesn't care about anyone. He is probably just amused. Protecting a blind person make him look like a hero. Staff on chuckling exactly. I will give it a month. He will get bored and leave. Jungkook froze, his heart pounding painfully in his chest. The words stabbed deeper than he expected. Amused, just a game. He turned quickly, can tapping harshly against the floor, and walked away before they could notice. His throat burned, his chest itching. That evening, Theon found Jungkook in the library. The room was empty, lit only by a warm glow of lamp. Jungkook sat with papers in front of him, but his hands were not moving. He was still so still. Theon smiling gently, Professor, you didn't eat again, did you? Come on, I bought food. Jungkook didn't answer, his lips pressed together slightly, his shoulders stiff. Theon frowned and moved closer, sitting the food down. Theon concerned, what's wrong? Did something happen? Jungkook finally speak, voice low and sharp. Why are you doing this to me, Theon? Taehyung blinked confused. Taehyung slowly, doing what? Jungkook raised his voice little, following me, protecting me, feeding me, treating me like I'm some kind of project for you. Taehyung's chest tightened. He stepped closer, but Jungkook stood backing away slightly. Jungkook, voice trembling, I heard that. They said that you are only here because you are amused, that you will get bored and leave. Is that true? Taehyung's eyes widened. Taehyung angrily, what? No, who said that? Jungkook bitterly, it didn't matter. Maybe they are right. Maybe I was stupid to believe someone like you who would actually care for someone like me. The word cut Taehyung deeper than any fight had ever. Taehyung whispered, stepping forward, don't say that. I care about you more than anyone. Jungkook snapping, tears forming. Stop lying. You don't know what it's like, Theon, to live in darkness, to have everyone treat you like a burden. I can't handle it for you are just like them. His voice broke. He quickly wiped his eyes, turning face away. Theon's hand shook. He wanted to grab Jungkook, hold him, kiss him away, but Jungkook looked so fragile, so determined to push him away. Theon softly, voice cracking. I'm not like them. You are not a burden. You are the only person. He stops breathing heavily. I can't breathe without you. Jungkook flinched, his lips trembling, but he shook his head. Jungkook whispering, don't say things you will regret. Theon heard pleading. I will never regret you. The silence that followed was heavy, filled with unshed tears and unspoken truth. Finally, Jungkook took a shaky breath, gripping his skin tightly. Jungkook, wait, but Fame. Theon, please stop interfering in my life. Just stop. The words shattered Theon. His chest felt like it was splitting apart. Theon, hoarse whisper. You really want me to leave? Theon's throat tightened, but he forced himself to nod slightly. He couldn't let himself hope. Hope was dangerous. Theon stood frozen for a long moment, his fist clenched. Jungkook stood alone, the silence pressing down on him. He pressed a hand onto his chest, trying to calm the edge. Jungkook, whispering to himself, broken. Why does it hurt? And somewhere outside, Theon leaned against the wall, fist bloody from punching his tears stinging his eyes. Theon muttering desperate. I will prove it to you, Professor. I will prove you are my everything, even if it kills me. The next few days were strangely quiet. No loud footstep rushing into his office, no warm voice commanding him to eat, no deep chuckles when he pouted. Jungkook sat at his desk, her hand resting on papers he hadn't touched. The silence pressed against him like a heavy blanket. He told himself this was what he wanted, that Theon's absence meant peace. But why did he feel so suffocating? At lunch, he found himself turning his head, expecting to hear Theon's voice at the library. He reached out, thinking Theon would be there to guide him. But every time there was nothing, just emptiness. He sat on his bed, hand gripping the blanket tightly. His chest hurt, his throat burned. The loneliness he had lived with for years suddenly felt unbearable, because now he knew what warmth felt like. Theon's warmth, Jungkook, whispering to himself, voice cracking. Why does it feel so cold without him? Tears slipping down his cheeks, he curled into himself, biting his lips to keep from sobbing too loudly. But outside his door, someone heard. Theung had been pacing the hallway for days, torn between respecting Jungkook's word and the unbearable need to see him. Hearing those broken whispers snap the last thread of his control. Without hesitation, he pushed the door open. Jungkook gasped, quickly wiping his face, turning away. Jungkook stammering, what are you doing here? I told you. Theung cutting him off, the voice desperate, trembling. I can't stay away anymore, Jungkook. He crossed the room in a few steps, dropping to his knees in front of Jungkook's bed. His hand reached out, carefully holding Jungkook's trembling ones. Theung hoarse. You told me to stop interfering, but do you know what it did to me? I couldn't breathe. I couldn't sleep. I can't live like that, Professor, not without you. Jungkook's lips trembled. He wanted to pull away, but Theung's hands were warm, grounding. Jungkook's voice breaking. Don't say that. I don't want pity. Theung shook his head, fiercely, tears glistening in his eyes. Theung pleading, this is not pity, Jungkook. Look at me, or at least listen to me. From the first day I saw you, I couldn't take my eyes off. The way you hold yourself, the strength you carry despite your pain, you are the most beautiful person I have ever met. Jungkook's breath hitched. He turned his face away, trade spilling freely. Jungkook whispering, then why does it hurt so much, Theon? Why do I feel like I will break if you leave? Theon cupped his cheeks gently, guiding his face back. Theon softly, voice trembling with emotion. Because I am not stupid, supposed to leave. I am yours, Jungkook. I have been waiting for you without even knowing it. You are not my project. You are my everything. Jungkook saw his body shaking. Taehyung climbed onto the bed, carefully pulling him into his arms. Jungkook hiccuping, clinging to him. I hate you for making me feel like that. Taehyung kissing his temple, whispering, then hate me forever. Just don't push me. Jungkook buried his face in Taehyung's chest, fist clutching his shirt. The steady heartbeat under his ear was comfortable, calming. Taehyung stroked his ear gently, rocking him tightly. Taehyung, softly tender, you don't have to be strong with me. You don't have to hide your tears. Let me take care of you, princess. Jungkook froze at the words but didn't protest. Instead, he sobbed harder, holding Taehyung tighter. After a long time, when the tears flowed, Jungkook whispered softly, "You really won't leave, Taehyung, never. Even if you push me away 1,000 times, I will come back because I belong to you." Jungkook lifted his head slightly, blind, eyes glistening with tears. Jungkook hesitant, trembling. Then stay, please stay with me. That please broke Taehyung completely. He leaned forward, pressing his lips softly against Jungkook's. Gentle, trembling, full of devotion. Jungkook gasped and melted into the kiss, clutching Taehyung's shirt as if afraid he would disappear. When they pulled apart, both were breathless, foreheads resting against Taehyung's. Taehyung whispering with a smile, "My professor, my princess, my everything." Jungkook blushing, tears smile. "Hyung, don't ever call me a burden again." Taehyung tears eyes shining. "You are not a burden, you are my reason." They had each other through the night, and no walls between them anymore, only the raw truth of their hearts, two souls fighting, finding light in the darkness. It had been 3 months since Jungkook had finally allowed Taehyung into his heart. The change was visible to everyone. Kim Taehyung, the untouchable bad boy who once walked the hall like a lone wolf, was now always seen beside the blind professor, carrying his books, guiding him across campus, glaring at anyone who so much as snickering in Jungkook's direction. The students didn't know what to do with his television. Student 1, I still can't believe it. Kim Taehyung daring a professor. Student 2, rolling eyes. Not just any professor, the blind one, and he treats him like a royalty. The students keep pouting. I tried for months to get Taehyung's attention. Turns out he was waiting for him all along. But while the campus buzzed with gossip inside Jungkook's office, there was only quiet warmth. Taehyung sat lazily on the couch, his head tilted back, eyes closed. Jungkook sat beside him, hands gently exploring his face. Jungkook softly, stay still, Hyung. Taehyung smiling with closed eyes. Anything for you, princess. Jungkook's finger traced over Taehyung's strong jawline, the curve of his lip, the slope of his nose. His touch was slow, reverent, as if memorizing every detail. Jungkook whispering, blushing, "You feel perfect." Taehyung opened his eyes just enough to watch Jungkook's focused expression. His soft pink lips parted slightly. His heart melted. Jungkook leaned forward, pressing a small kiss to Taehyung's forehead. Jungkook quietly, "For thinking too much about me." Another kiss on his eyelids. Jungkook, soft smile, "For always watching over me." A kiss on his cheeks. "For making me cry that night, idiot." Taehyung chuckled softly, cupping Jungkook's face. "I deserve that one." Jungkook's finger brushed his nose, that he kissed the tip gently. Jungkook, "For being real, for staying." Finally, Jungkook's lips hovered over Taehyung. His breath trembled, then he kissed him fully, slowly pouring all his feelings into it. Taehyung pulled him closer, deepening the kiss, one hand tangled in Jungkook's hair, the other stroking his back gently. When they pulled apart, Jungkook was blushing, his fingers still resting on Taehyung's lips. Jungkook softly, "And this for being mine." Taehyung, chest etched with love, he pressed his forehead against Jungkook's, whispering tenderly, "Taehyung, serious. I was always yours, Bunny, from the moment I saw you." Outside the door, a group of students who had been gossiping froze when they peeked inside. Their jaws dropped. Student 1 shocked. "Is he letting the professor kiss his face like that?" Student 2, he is literally softly, only for him, not fair." Student 3, "Honestly, it's kind of beautiful." They quietly backed away, leaving the couple in peace. Inside, Jungkook laid his head against Taehyung's chest, smiling softly as Taehyung stroked his hair. Jungkook's tiny voice, "I don't care what anyone says. As long as you are here, I am not afraid of the dark anymore." Taehyung kissing his hair, whispering, "Then stay forever. I will be your light." And in that quiet room surrounded by whispers, there is no longer cared about. The blind professor and the bad boy found their eternity, wrapped in love, devotion, and the soft glow of the future only they could see. Years passed, but something never changed. Kim Taehyung was no longer the bad boy of the college. He was now the young, sharp, and untouchable CEO of one of Korea's biggest companies. Every magazine ever cover called him ruthless, confident, powerful, but at home he was something else entirely. At home he was Jungkook, now his husband, sat in the living room with their baby boy curled against his chest, humming softly. He had grown more confident over the years, but his blondness still made the world fragile around him. That didn't matter though. Taehyung built was so high no one could ever touch him or their family. Taehyung walked in, closing his tie, exhaustion clear on his face. But the moment he saw Jungkook holding their child, his eyes softening instantly. Taehyung, my two triggers. Jungkook pouting playfully. You are late again, Hyung. Baby missed you. Taehyung quickly crossed the arm, leaning down to kiss Jungkook's lips softly before brushing his finger over his baby's hair. Taehyung whispering, I'm sorry work dragged longer, but I'm here now. The baby made a small noise, reaching tiny hand towards Taehyung. The CEO melted instantly, lifting his son gently into his arms. Jungkook, smiling softly, teasing, see, he likes you more than me these days. Taehyung, serious, shaking his head. Impossible. No one can like me more than you do. Jungkook blushed, hiding his face in his hands. Later that night, after the baby was asleep and he cried, Taehyung carried Jungkook body style into their bedroom. Jungkook pouting, hiding his face. I can walk, you know. Taehyung kissing his cheeks. I know, but you are my glass door. I will never stop protecting you. He laid Jungkook gently on the bed, sliding beside him, eyes burning with hunger. He had held back all day. Taehyung, low husky. Do you know how hard it is coming home and not touching you right away? Jungkook's breath hitched, his body warming under Taehyung's intense gaze. Jungkook whispering, teasing. Then touch me, Young. That's all. Taehyung needed. He leaned down, kissing Jungkook deeply, tongue sliding against, strumming possessively over his body. Jungkook whimpered, clinging to Taehyung's shirt. Taehyung pulling back, lips swollen, eyes dark. Taehyung, my professor, my husband, my princess. You drive me insane. Jungkook, young. Taehyung's hands slide down his thighs, squeezing. Taehyung, say my name, baby. So say who you belong to, Jungkook. Taehyung, I'm yours, always yours. Taehyung groaned, kissing his down his neck, biting, leaving mark only he allowed to leave. Jungkook gasped, brushing her fingers, digging into his shoulder. Taehyung, that's right, you are mine, only mine. To touch you, no one gets to see you like this, only me. Jungkook trembled, his legs wrapped around Taehyung's waist, pulling him closer. Jungkook, Taehyung, please, Taehyung. No, please, what, princess? Use your words. Jungkook blushed furiously, hiding his face in Taehyung's chest. You know what I want, Taehyung. I know, but I love hearing you beg. Jungkook whimpers, finally giving in. Jungkook's shaky voice, please, make love to me. I need you, Taehyung. They snapped the last of Taehyung's restraint. He claimed Jungkook's lips again, kissing him hungrily as if trying to devour every breath. Close but discarded quickly, skin meeting skin, heat radiating between them as Taehyung slid in. Jungkook gasped, flushing his desperate tears forming in the corner of his eyes. Taehyung, I have got you, always got you. Their bodies moved together in a rhythm only they know. Taehyung whispered dirty promises against his lips, each filled with devotion and possessiveness. Taehyung, you are perfect, my husband, my princess, the love of my life. I will never stop worshipping you. Jungkook crying, I love you so much. The night was filled with their whispers, their love echoing in every touch. And when it was over, Taehyung held Jungkook tightly in his arm, brushing damp hair from his forehead, kissing his lips tenderly. Taehyung softly whispering, forever yours, Bunny. Jungkook sleepily smiling straight his chest, forever young. With their babies living peacefully in the next room and their hearts bound in unbreakable love, their story ended where it began, with Taehyung protecting his precious professor and Jungkook finally realizing he had never been in the dark, not as long as Taehyung was by his side. The end.